All right, let's get that spine moving. Today we're going to be working on spine segmentation, working through each segment of the spine. Now, as you can see, this is a regular cat camel, which is very commonly prescribed in the rehab setting, and too often I see it being performed all in one unit in flexion and into extension, without disassociating through each region in a fluid and controlled manner, which you'll see coming up. And the purpose of the intersegmental cat camel is so that we can create the capacity to move through each region of the spine. Movement through each region has slowly deteriorated from not moving like humans like we should and being sedentary. So this is why this is one of my favorite exercises, because we got to get our spines moving every day. And remember, movement is medicine. So here I'm going to show you, we're going to get into the Quadric Preposition. So this is how we're going to get set up. Shoulders stacked over the hands, pelvis stacked over the knees. So to start, we're going to get in a fully flexed position. Push the hands down into the ground and forward, the knees down into the ground and back. We're going to separate the ground. Now first we're going to start out with the pelvis. Let's anteriorly tilt the pelvis. Bring the tail towards the back of the head. Don't move anything else. We're going to keep that moving and let that extend. Let the lumbar start to extend as well. And we're going to let that trickle up into, you can see the next arrow, into the thoracic mid-back region. So we're going to keep it slow and controlled. Keep that trickling up towards the upper back as you go into extension. Very, very slow. Let's keep that contraction going that we had. And let's let that cervical spine or the neck start to extend. So the tail and the neck are in full extension. We're in a fully extended position. And now, once we're into that position, we're going to start to pinch the ground together by pushing the palms down into the ground and back, and the knees down into the ground and forward. So we're going to be pinching the ground together. Now we're going to bring the neck down into a fully flexed position, the neck only. Start to pinch it in between the chest, in between the shoulders, and let that upper back start to round. Let's get that rounding and keep that rounding without the pelvis starting to round. Let that trickle down into a flex position. Now we're into the mid to lower back, and now let that lower back start to flex without the pelvis moving yet. Really focus on that contraction. Really focus on each segment moving downward, segment by segment. Now let that lumbopelvic region or the pelvis start to posteriorly tilt, so tucking that tail underneath. So now we're in a fully flexed position here. And now we're going to, again, separate the ground. So down, forward, knees down and back. So now the head's going to come up into extension, head only, and now let the upper back go. We're going a little quicker, down to the mid-back. Keep that lower back there, and now let each segment of the lower back start to trickle downward, and let that pelvis start to anteriorly rotate again. Now we're in full extension. So from here, now what we're going to do is create a strong contraction, pinching the ground together. So palms, hands down and back, knees down and forward. So really pinching the ground together. We're going to ramp up a contraction. Let's go 10, 20, 40, 60. Ramp that up. Let's hold it 60. Let's relax that contraction as we start to extend the back. Let's get into accentuate the extension that we have. Accentuate the extension. And then let's contract again. Let's ramp that up to 60%. And then let's accentuate extension again. And now we're going to go ahead and go back into our flexion. So neck down, upper back, mid back, lower back. Let the lumbopelvic region posteriorly tilt it. Tucking tail underneath, head fully flexed. We're in a fully flexed position. And we're going to reverse that contraction. So palms down and forward, knees down and back. Ramp that up. Let's go 10, 30, 40, 60, and then now we're going to accentuate the flexion. So relax that contraction, get into further flexion. Let's ramp that up again. And now we're going to only work on the pelvic region. So posteriorly tilting the pelvis and anteriorly tilting the pelvis. Don't move anything else. We're only focusing on that pelvic region. Posteriorly tilting, tail underneath. Anteriorly tilting, tail towards the back of the head. Posteriorly tilt, and then anteriorly tilt. Good. Now we're going to go back all the way up to into extension. So let's get another segmentation up into extension. Now from here, let's irradiate, create tension, and don't move anything else except for the cervical, the neck region, and the upper back region. So let's try to only work on that neck to upper back. So extend here, neck all the way up, neck all the way down, flex the upper back, move nothing else, and then go back up into extension.